I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm Alex, and today we're diving into some fresh Reddit tales. If you enjoy these Reddit stories, please consider smashing that like button, subscribing, and maybe even ringing the notification bell. Let's jump right into the first tale. Sending you all tons of love. Our first story hails from Awkward Peach, posted on the Am I the Jerk subreddit, titled, Am I the Jerk for telling my fiancé I won't contribute to the mortgage? For context, I'm a 29-year-old woman, and my fiancé is a 30-year-old man. We've been a couple for a decade. In 2020, we welcomed our baby, but I lost my job around the same time. Our apartment lease was ending, and my grandmother kindly offered us a place to stay at her house, essentially giving us our own space rent-free. I floated the idea of going back to school, and everyone thought it was a solid plan. My fiancé covered the tuition costs, and my grandma looked after our baby while I attended classes. I'm set to graduate this semester, having studied part-time for a few terms. My fiancé has been earning $90,000 annually for the last couple of years, and $70,000 before that. He's saved up a decent chunk of cash. We plan to tie the knot after I finish school and buy a home together. Recently, we've been house hunting more seriously and found a place we both adore. We met with a mortgage advisor, and that's when he dropped a bombshell. The mortgage and deed would be in his name alone, with me having no legal stake. I stayed quiet during the meeting, but afterward I told him I thought we were purchasing the house as a team and that I'd cover half the mortgage. He clarified that I'd still pay half, but my name wouldn't be on the paperwork. I pointed out that this meant I'd have no legal claim to the property, and he confirmed that was his intention. He argued that since he saved up the 40% down payment, it's only fair he retains full ownership in case we split. I told him if that's his stance, I'm not contributing to the mortgage. I said this setup doesn't feel like a partnership, and if he wants a house solely in his name, he can pay for it himself. He got upset, called me ungrateful, and claimed he's been footing the bill for everything, including my education, for years. I countered that I stayed home to care for our child, saving us daycare costs, which would have eaten up most of any part-time income I could have earned. He dismissed that, insisting I owe him half the mortgage since I'd agreed to it initially. So, Reddit, am I the jerk for refusing to pay? Wow, talk about some glaring warning signs. It's a bit cheeky of him considering you've been living rent-free at your grandma's, which he's benefited from too. You'd think if he wanted to protect his investment, he'd suggest a prenup to secure his down payment, with the remaining equity split evenly if things went south. Instead, his attitude, calling you names and disregarding your contributions, feels off. He's only been able to save so much because of the free rent and childcare your grandma provided. I'd be questioning the future of this relationship if he's acting like this now. Things might worsen once you're married and he feels more secure. User Sunnyhill says, OP, do not marry this guy. You've got a free place to stay and he expects you to pay half a mortgage to build his equity. If things go wrong, he'll walk away with your childcare contributions, the free housing your family provided, and half the mortgage payments you'd have made, leaving you with nothing. He blindsided you in front of the broker and insulted you. Like others have said, this probably isn't the first time he's shown his true colors. You're not the jerk. User OpenGate agrees. Not the jerk. He's had free rent and childcare thanks to your family, which let him save that money. If your name's not on the house, don't pay a cent. OP responds, I'm honestly reconsidering marriage right now. This feels so sudden. He's never acted like this before. I thought staying home with our son and living rent-free balanced out his ability to save. Another commenter says, not the jerk. First, calling you names is unacceptable. Second, while his 40% down payment is significant, you weren't slacking off. You raised your child and studied. This is supposed to be a partnership, but he's not acting like it. He saved so much because of your family's support. You're wise not to pay into a house you don't own. His stance that you'd have no claim if you split is a red flag. This can't be the first time he's been selfish or bitter. Have a serious talk and consider counseling to address this. Don't let him set you and your child up for financial ruin. Good luck. OP later edits the post. Initially, we planned to stay with my grandma briefly to save for a new rental. I suggested school to boost my earning potential so we could eventually buy a home. My grandma urged us to stay until I graduated to save for our future together. My fiancé and I agreed we'd buy a house as a team. We paid for school because we were getting married, and my loans would have been a shared burden. He supported my education to improve our child's life. Edit 2. For those saying school was pricier than rent, my degree cost $17,000 total. Over 5 years, that's $3,400 annually. OP provides an update. Thank you to everyone who commented. Your insights were helpful and supportive. Even the less kind comments gave me a glimpse into my fiancé's perspective, so thanks for that, though some were quite harsh. To clarify, my grandma offered us a temporary place to stay during the lockdown while I job hunted, as the job market was uncertain. I mentioned finishing my degree, and she offered to watch our baby during classes. My fiancé agreed to cover tuition since we weren't paying rent or daycare, calling it an investment in our future. With a Pell Grant and scholarship, he paid about $3,400 a year. If I hadn't gone to school, my grandma wouldn't have let us stay long-term. She wanted to give us a boost for our future. She's upset now, saying she wouldn't have helped if she knew his plans. For the update, I confronted my fiancé about this setup and asked why he changed his mind. He said he worked hard for his money and doesn't want to lose it in a divorce. I said that's fair, but his plan leaves me with nothing if I have no rights to the house. He insisted that since I didn't save the down payment, the house should be his alone unless I match his 40%. I proposed a prenup to protect his 40% while splitting the remaining equity 50-50, reflecting what I'd pay. He said he'd consider it, but doesn't like the idea of selling if we split. I told him if he wants sole ownership that badly, he should buy a place he can afford alone. This house barely fits his income solo, and I'm not sure he'd qualify for the loan. I also suggested couples therapy before marriage. He refused, saying, "We don't need it, and I should just follow his lead." That ended the talk. I don't recognize this man. This isn't the partner I had a child with. That man was caring, attentive, and respectful. He vowed never to hurt me or our child. I'm heartbroken and confused. Things take a darker turn in OP's next update. Thank you all for your support. It's comforting to know I'm not alone. I feel validated in refusing to pay half the mortgage if I'm not on the deed. Last night we discussed the situation again. He rejected the prenup idea. I gave my final offer, couples therapy and marriage before buying a house, with a temporary rental until we sort things out. He refused, saying renting is a waste of money. He then claimed I'm not entitled to his money and won't buy a house post-marriage because I'd take it in a divorce. I said, fine, we won't marry. He asked if I was ending things, and I said I wasn't sure but needed space. He exploded, calling me selfish and a leech, demanding I owe him $30,000. No idea where that figure came from. He said I'm damaged goods, and no one will want me. He ranted for 3 minutes until my grandma intervened and told him to leave. He's at a hotel now, leaving angry voicemails. I'm numb. My child is confused, asking why I'm sad and where Dad is. I hate this. To those who suggested he's into red pill content, you were spot on. I checked his YouTube subscriptions. Jordan Peterson, the Manosphere Podcast, Alpha Talks, and others. He's deep in the Manosphere rabbit hole. The man I loved is gone. There were signs I missed. He kept saying his money, his house, and called himself the head of the household. He's been fixated on being the provider lately. This shift started about 8 to 9 months ago. Writing this has been cathartic. Thank you for your support. Next up, a story from the Am I the Jerk subreddit by Family Drama Teen. Am I the jerk for telling my dad that if he doesn't step up, my mom might divorce him? Hi, everyone. I shared this on Am I the Jerk, but thought I'd post here too. I'm new to Reddit, so apologies if I mess up any rules. I'm a 16-year-old girl, and my dad is 57. I love my parents and appreciate all they do for me, but my relationship with my dad has always been tricky. He's not great at communicating, and sometimes I feel like I can't talk to him about anything. The bigger issue is that my mom does everything at home. She cooks, cleans, does laundry, and more, all while working remotely full-time and pursuing a master's degree. I help as much as I can, but there's only so much I can do. My dad works a physically demanding job and does nothing else. No chores, no helping out. I get that his job is tiring, but he could at least walk the dog or cook for himself occasionally. We've both asked him to pitch in, and he always promises to, but nothing changes. He's washed dishes a couple of times, but so poorly that Mom had to redo them. This has gone on for years, and I'm fed up. Here's where I might have crossed a line. 3 days ago, Mom was at class, so laundry hadn't been done, and there was a pile of dirty clothes in their room. Dad casually remarked, "Wow, there's a lot of dirty laundry around." That set me off. I told him he's a grown man and can wash his own clothes if he wants them clean. He looked shocked and told me to relax. I tend to get sharp when I'm annoyed, and this was one of those moments. I blurted out, "I swear, if you don't start pulling your weight around here, Mom's going to want a divorce." I instantly regretted it. He stormed out, clearly upset. For context, he's been married twice before my mom. I told Mom what happened, and she said while he needs to do more, my comment was harsh and the divorce jab was uncalled for. The next day I tried to apologize, but he ignored me and went outside. It's been 3 days, and he hasn't spoken to me despite my attempts to say sorry. The house is tense, and now he's mad at Mom, thinking she wants a divorce. I feel awful, but deep down I still think I was right. So, am I the jerk? I can't help but wonder about his previous marriages. What went wrong there? User Happy Vibes says, "Not the jerk. As the daughter of a similar man, your dad's using silence as a weapon to manipulate you. Your comment wasn't out of line. It's a real possibility. My mom divorced my dad after 18 years for similar reasons. People who dodge accountability always feel attacked. Your mom might be better off without him. Ignore his silent treatment. He'll act like nothing's wrong soon enough." User Bold Voice says, "Not the jerk. You called out his lack of effort, and instead of stepping up, he sulked in his garage. Did he ever do the laundry? Talk to your mom about how this affects you. She's prioritizing his feelings over yours. Is this the relationship she wants you to model? You might stop visiting home if this continues." User Nightstar says, "Not the jerk. It's absurd to say you, a teen, hurt your dad's feelings and are equally to blame. He's an adult. Tell him to stop sulking and act like one. You're still learning how to navigate this, and he's failing you by not modeling healthy responses." Your comment was blunt, but rooted in truth. User Gentle Wave says, "You're the jerk. Your mom's right. It's not your place to speak for her. Your dad's behavior is immature, but you overstepped. He's wrong for not helping, but he's entitled to his feelings." OP later updates, "Hi again. I posted last week and wanted to share what happened since. Thanks to everyone who commented. You were kind and gave great feedback. The verdict was not the jerk, though many said I shouldn't have spoken for my mom. I agree now. My dad was being lazy, but I shouldn't have put words in her mouth." 2 days after my post, my parents sat me down to talk. I braced for a scolding, but instead, they dropped a bombshell. My dad was so upset because my comment hit too close to home. He's been cheating on my mom for a year with a coworker. Mom found out months ago and went back to work to gain financial independence for a divorce. They hadn't planned to tell me, but Dad thought I was mature enough to know. They'll likely separate by year's end. This blindsided me. I never imagined Dad would cheat despite his flaws. He apologized, saying he hopes I don't see him differently. I stayed polite but told him I'm disappointed. I've been staying with a friend to process this. My comment, while harsh, led to the truth, so I'm oddly glad. Sorry this isn't a happy update, but I'm okay. Thanks again for your support. My jaw dropped when he said, after admitting to cheating, I hope you don't see me differently. Come on, man. And it makes me curious about those past marriages. What happened there? What do you all think of this mess? Share your thoughts in the comments below. A massive thank you for joining me today, engaging with these stories, and showing your love and support. Your time means everything to me, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Catch you in the next one. Take care and much love.